incline massive, you know. He covers all my space for real. Let's just put it that way. Yo, what up, guys? My name is Irish, yo. I've been chilling, you know, like, doing big things right now. Sometimes I'm getting up, sometimes I'm not. I'm just going by one and stuff like that. And such, you know, like, I thought about a lot of stuff. Went through a lot of things. I met a pretty cool guy named Chris. I've been chilling. I'm going to be chilling with him for a while. I'm supposed to meet up with the nigga by 12 o'clock today, in the afternoon. He's a pretty cool dude, I bet, like in the city. Like, before I went to the city and stuff like that, he got up with me, and then, you know, like, the rest he took care of and stuff like that. He's a pretty cool guy. I mean, I had a great time, you know. Introduced me, bought me lunch, shrimp and lobsters, you know what I'm saying? Here and there, and took me out a few places. Have a few heists, you know what I'm saying? Artwork all already there and stuff like that, you know. One of the most ridiculous time ever, but I'm sexually, you know what I mean? He just like Task, you know. He's just like him, but it's crazy though. On a real note, I feel as if they could give me whatever I want, I need at that situation in real life too. It's mad funny. It's called, yeah, it's a real board game. In the long run of things, and things that you don't understand, and things that you do understand, things you don't understand, he's gonna tell you a lot of things only in return, and the nigga could give me like the most ridiculous airtime forever, you know? You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to my word to my mother. And like, I don't even know how to explain it to you, you know what I'm saying? So like, just don't even worry about it. You know? And then shout out to other people in the camera and such and such, and you know, I'm trying to get rid of my pain in my middle finger, you know? And I want to get rid of my all my middle finger pain, like the scars and shit like that. I don't want the scar anymore, and I need to make a right decision of making money too. Instead of blackboarding, I need a money path, forever money for me. You know, I have money for me forever, that type of path, in a situation like that, and telling truth and stuff like that. Me being truthful. You know what I mean? Like I'm being honest with the person. You know, like very truthful. I just need to get rid of all the jumps. I can't have the jumps anymore. I can't do that, and I can't have nothing without a mention of you know, wealth anymore, you know. And lastly, for not least, I need to have more individual rights. You know what I mean? Being and working for these dudes feels like I've been on something else. So majority of the time, I encounter reactive ways and such. I thought about the measures of myself being in person, you know, like freestyling, giggling and stuff like that, and telling the righteous path and the truth. But majority of the time, when I come up and I do a lot of explanation of who I am as a person and what I say in return, I tell them that it has to, majority of the time, it has to do with the self-imposing will of being with the person already versus in speculating in a motive of being in a forever as a friend. So it seemed like a more of a logical, more reasoning route rather than telling how I behaved and what I saw and have I measured the outcome of the measures, which seemed indescribable at first, but undeniably it becomes what it meant to say, and then I'll follow the rest of the perpetual motion with the person at necessary beat for all the time. So at times and times only, I take the last stanza of the first bit again, and then the first bit into the last stanza, which I know for a fact has nothing to do with whom the person has to say, but what the person always discusses after such cases are met within the time and the frame that I have to air out all the things that I went through and what I did. But aside from it, I'm wishing of a lot of money. I want to have a lot of money on me. I'm thinking about all these things, and I'm thinking about the right choices to make, and I really need to cash some of my checks, and it has to work. I need cash in my pocket, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm 100% it could happen. It will happen, like, I don't know how to explain it to you, like, I'm 100% good with cash. If you give me cash, I think I'm 100% good, and I hope you understand that, like, by asking, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to improve on a lot of things like that, and vice versa, and then I want to do something else that I know for a fact that I'm not hindering or causing so much of a commotion that I'm not expressing myself so clearly. But till the time that I actually confronted the times and then doing this stuff, and vice versa, versus things that I need and things that I want, has nothing to do with what the other person had to do. But in return, what I'm saying is, I have the right benefit of becoming a righteous moan and a righteous man in between, and then that I could cash my check. And this is the guy that caught me the most ridiculous feeling of all time. So I feel as if he, in a personal matter, do want to say that he is in part, but at the same time, you have to respect me for my cause and my cause only. Just being very extremely beneficial in return of things, and the things of all things in which I, for reasons, think that it should be allowed. I'll be 100% honest with you that I should be able to cash all my checks without a problem, and as long as I bring the proper ID and the proper stuff that are with it, then I think we could take the measure of the outcourses. But until those things are not portrayed or admitted or really met inclined, I would say that I would have to think about it, but have done it the right choices are only. But the last time that I kind of confronted in a lot of a matter of a lot of imperfected but perfected things, which I demand to say in a while that I have never become truly, like a person to really say that I was once like an inclined, you know what I mean? So like naturally, you have to take the pleasuring stand of a lot of things versus a lot of things in a ridiculous moment in time. Then maybe we could take the stand of really doing it and actually changing some of the stamina per se, and then maybe we could go on from there. But some people claim the righteous matter over the state of disbelieving that I could have done or mistaken something in a most factual way. But at the same time, I thought of a lot of things in different ways, and in different categorical meanings and stuff like that. Some people thought about other reasons of risk taking, and other reasons of non-risk taking, And I still don't understand to this point and where I have said or where I have actually done the proper manner which confronts my problem with you guys, and that I could actually leave without or expressing my outburst of intellectual curiosity, which seemed more of a intake of flow of really being or cynically and really telling the truth, you know what I mean? And I wish of those things to happen, like I'm not lying, and I don't think I have anything bad to say, or is it point of me explaining to you that I am who I am, or vice versa. I'm not really telling you the truth of, or rolling with these things that I'm not really fond of, and I can't really tell you in the long run how it works and what it's doing to a lot of things, especially coming from how things are working and stuff like that. So I take the natural state of being and then maybe move on from there, but otherwise known for a fact and for a reason and only and stuff like that. You just have to accept those believes in half. You know, like small things in half, and then you could just go on from there. Some people thought about it unnaturally, which I didn't understand at the point. But you just have to understand, dude, that anything, my middle finger, anything has to do with poor stuff, I have to get rid of. You know, like I can't have it anymore. Everything I wasn't good at, I have to get rid of all of that stuff. You know, all the stuff that I was bad at and stuff like that, said and so forth. Like I had to get rid of it. You know, like a lot at the moment. You know what I mean? A whole bunch, everything all at once. To be honest with you. So like don't say that I do agree with it and I don't agree with it, but I have to understand that I agree with it 100%. You know, like it's just beyond crazy. You know, and after all things and all things aside, I do believe still like I'm part of like Digital Arts. My name's unlisted on the internet, and you can look for me. My name's Aris, and my last name is Newton. And whatever, you could do all of that stuff, or you could just check me out on Google searches, or I'm on some stuff else. If not, if you really want to get down to business, I have a few other stuff on other pages as well. But majority of the time, I post it on on TVs, on a table of a thing. I'm on TV, and I'm also on appearance for what do you call it? Some of the internet sessions, and a few appearances on some DVDs and such. And I also attend the church that I confront myself where we're visually impaired, and then they actually confront and they draw us and in front of cameras and stuff like that. I have that, which are aired through a Korean Christian television station. It's on channel. It moved from 533 to 1487 now. So basically, I went through myself and I, magic trick and stuff like that, and I went through the phase of either watching these people, these civilians, as they say, for another cause, and going through all of that to having an appearance on the thing. Well, yeah, it would not work at all. I would have had given the guy a second chance, and then mediocre in time, and I should have waited per hour to really do it. So I asked him a few times if he could actually increase the moment in time and value and reasoning only, which seemed more hindering rather than being in a part with a real meaning of life and stuff like that. So the one guy kind of understood it by the ages limit, but ages limit, if you break it down, we're all majority of the people that I kind of concubined with since I was like a kid and stuff like that are also coming up. So like but the appearance of the time and stuff like that, if you match everything, we all have the same hours, same video hours. Also have a few other appearances with on the street level too, which are pretty much not quite, but it's all about this guy, you know. It's all about him, you know. So it just comes up as it is, and it disappears at the moment, in a certain moment in time, which are creatively very announced, and one of the most meticulous artwork as shown before. So majority of time I actually also have a quite experience with underground ages of like smoking, marijuana, books, predictive wise, and few edits on my own, which but I never created my own company to actually announce myself to the world who I am, basically. So like I take some of the influences that I see around me, for example, and the most grittiest things that I have become, like, you know, in all the honesty, one of the most hitheringly disturbing stuff to actually witness and to really do things. And then sometimes there are energy core where you know for a fact The reasoning and reasoning only of intellectual being, of my face being an intelligent level, being articulate, expressive wise, and being more meticulous about the cleaning things and how things observing, and how like there are other characters that are darker. For example, you use this type of example versus what the gaming dreaming world has to state. And like, have I given myself a benefit of doubt that there are existence of another space where I could actually say that there are criticism of growth in either the video game life or intellectual life, going from a pattern or into a pseudo-fictional like life of explaining how video games has transpired through ages that I have inquired, no matter what the taste. But the irony of outcome always stands on a four post, where you can't break the barriers of one nature and one God type of thing, where you have to have the reason, and the reason are the truth. And when you find the truth, you have to have the corrosive background and certain degree of knowledge how things are working. Sometimes you're put in a situation yourself that you're not who you are. Sometimes you are put into a situation who know who you are, in a sense. So majority of the time when you switch those things back and forth, I know for a fact in reasoning and reasoning only that it is who the person is as a person. So it represents the fact that it is truth in certain barriers and certain causality. So you take those type of niches, you take the other benefit of doubt, and then another side of the unequal stance of irony and a will of injustice and things like that. It is identically and intensifiedly that the photo does resemble who the person is, like me. It's really me, but it's just that I'm not really a hither of a fan of person dying for myself and a belief that he was excluded, which partakes in a lot of things that you have to take it from the stand of our own and a stand of someone else buying something else, and then going from the case from the right motivation and then changing it, or vice versa, going from the counterflex life or intuitive life that you know for a fact that you have committed in yourself, that you did something provocative and introduced something without a camera shy criticism, without thinking about out loud about a real manurical life of a real internet setting of life and such. I think and believe in irony that I have nothing else to say, and in all due honesty of disrespect in regards to not saying enough how much certain patterns of others have discussed in my belief in irony, and that the state of just being indifferent rather than being wise enough, being in tuned, being something else, being another thing and another thing and again, and other times and at times and times again, you know for a fact that it's who you are. But times and times are changing. They want Robin changes, they want another section guessing, they want another criticism on how things should be moving, how things should work and things like that. Some people, even if I go on myself, I'm believing on using a computer and then typing stuff like that, now I say, yo man, I have to look for this. Do you think, for example, that person's gonna exist? There's no such thing as an unreliable barrier thing, you know, like you can't go through those things at all times. So you have to switch the right or wrong of life, going through life. Different cases of different things, but speaking wise and stuff like that, there are only things about things and things about things like that. Manneristically, you tell yourself a lot of stories of, do you have this type of things, do you have this, do you have this, and you break all these things down. It really don't exist, you know what I mean? So you take everything and things, and some people look at me like, yo man, I'm 100% sure that you can't really do this and think about that type of things and think about this type of things and that type of things and vice versa. Other times, the greediness of people really saying how they inspired to be and not to be, and think about the rest of the time that you were not at the time of who you are or what you said and what you discovered on your own that had nothing to do with drawings of yourself and going through like penal code and such, and then following a retrospective mannerism, like which I have also disregarded at the most time of the point. So in return, I told the guy that even if I came up and I told myself that that's all the actuality, even where the person is confronting, it's not me, but it is me. You know what I'm saying? So like, he can't really tell you that it is me. You know, like, so you can't really tell the boss whether or not you're doing the right thing or you're not doing the right thing. But in return, you know for a fact you have to do the right thing. You got to sit down, you got to tell yourself the truth of why you wrote all these things, and the quite deeper question of what he's asking you in a most unreturnable way that has nothing to do with the over-end demand of why I self-proclaim to have earned that. And then, like, lastly, not enough for say, you know for a fact that it will say this, it won't say this, it will say that, it will do it, you know? So would you just keep it as it is, and you should just leave it as alone? So I would say that I'm not really keen and fully invested in time, but no, answer is I can't really do it. I really wish I would have, but I wish I should not take the risk of going through it with that person. So I would rather say no for myself on my behalf, but yes in real life, you know? So you can't really tell me about unexplained things that are not doing this, things are like that. But shout out to my church, what I do for internet. You have to understand what I do for life internet, what I am in previous life and photo life, you know, how I was in TVs. And you know, like things like that. And sometimes you have to understand that they are me, and it's all me. There's no such thing as others. So you have to believe in those facts in real life, which I have no idea, but you have to believe me. And then majority of the time you have to believe me. It's the real human truth, and you don't have to fight me. It's a human fact. It's just that we're not combined in their type of field, but it's completely weird. Like, it's mad weird. I understand everything. So you have to take those understanding and keep fighting for my beef. Is thinking that I might be on the thing, but I'm 155% sure it's there already. You know what I mean? It's automatically there. So you can't really say that you haven't taken any risk just behind the thing that's wrong you agreed with and all these things. So you can't really say those things and then hallucinatingly take me to another state and then think about other reasons and other reasons only. But you have to know that I, for once, you understood the point of those points in no return and the points of those type of things in all return. But every point of I take for all return and stake and sake and only, that I know for a fact it does exist, and that I am a greater person than the person that person really thinks about being that person, you know? So you can't really necessarily say no, you can't say necessarily yes, but it's already there, you know? Secondly, in all due honesty speaking, everything I said and everything I've done, I have to explain it to you. You just can't do it. You know, I'm 100% sure some people took the route of this, some people took the route of that, and then they take the route of this to another level, to another level, to another level. Then they think about it, keep thinking about it at the highest level. They keep thinking about this stuff. So when you take this type of bud reasoning and you take about this, and it drives a man crazy to know that the person is going to say this and you have to think about this and that. But in all honesty, there are no disrespect in regards. It's already, I'm not even naturally saying it. It can't be on a truth and another thing and things like that and so forth. And I know for a fact that I'm not lying myself when I tell you this. So some of the blood and all that stuff is not going to work. It won't work in my world. It's not going to work in my next world. And it's just compromising when you sit down. There's nothing else if you really think about it. No one has it. And even on the internet, no one has my name. You know? So it's my ID on the internet, my life on the internet, and my photos, you know, it's mad weird, yo. I competed in schools and shit, you know what I mean, with mad people and shit like that, and I kind of ranked. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not saying that I'm a loser and shit like that, but you know what I'm saying. So like, few stuff are pretty gritty, and some shits are deep. You know, you gotta feel me on this, yo. And sometimes you have to take the bit of understanding who you are, and then think about the reasoning of me being who I am all the time. They always get me for which are all me. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. And I happen to break down some of the stuff that I've done and previously compared to anything else, and in return, and all due honesty and respect for everybody else in that regard. If it comes down to key in the moment and shit like that, I'm not really down with that kind of shit. But I understand it, you know what I mean? I'm just chilling. There's nothing in regards, nothing in problems. So you take those things and you give me respect, you know what I'm saying? And I'd rather take the bit of person paying for me rather than being on a moment and then, you know, some good things happen to me, you know, like that type of things, you know? And I took it to the most point and stuff like that. But it's real DVD, it's real TV. I go to church right now, right? And the church that I attend, it's a TV station too, so like it's a combined in a TV station. They have everything. So like it's not bad, you know. Like, and I have nowhere else to go. It's my life basically, you know. So when I go there, you know what I'm saying, I get prepared, and sometimes I go through stages. I have to go through a training. I have to do this. I have to do a whole bunch of stuff. I actually earned a diploma, a certificate from the place. And I even got honors of working with people of internet, the politicians, or internet corrupt politicians. Actually, it's a main focal point. And the other one was whether or not I did the right thing on pushing on the right reasoning with people. And others are professional people that are on web. And I took a few photos myself, which I took a photo of, you know, but I never actually published it anywhere, like using it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't publish it until recently, which I acquired a new dirty net where I took the pictures and I threw them out. I got rid of it. He's most ridiculous. He's not the most ridiculous, but it's crazy. It's really people on the internet and shit. So like you have to take that to the fact and consideration that some people are pretty much set and right, but at the same time you have to understand that I actually have things in return, and I have met people, but in all honesty, I took those photos myself. So like I don't care what the person made in return. Highest bid, I took the photo of myself. The person, you know what I'm saying? So you can't, you gotta take the outstanding understanding what that reason is, instead of just thinking about it as vice versa and such and so forth, and you know, taking all right and wrong and mistakes like that. So you have to forgive me for some. If you don't understand the real story behind it, you might actually laugh. It's one of the most funniest story. But I happen to light up on a spot that it's trainly run by literally internet, and there's no map. Man, every time you travel, it's like an odyssey, and you keep getting lost and you don't want to get lost, man. You want to tell the truth. You want to tell the person what you're doing. You want to be like sitting down. You got to tell them who's the boss, who's the man. And you tell them how many times you've been doing this, and how many times that I am who I am. You know, like I can't really say that enough. You know, so you can't take that a lot of things. So, and vice versa, you play the role of giving and taking in most privileged ways. You know, not even lying about it. You know, the most privileged way, and you tell them the truth of who the person is and what the person has influenced you throughout life, and how it has transpired to really become who you are. But leaving something else behind with a combined state that I have broken down and have done these type of works. Some people have inquired to say that they are a king for themselves for reason and reason only, which are suspected to say that it's fine to do it and fine not to do it. But the more heavier cause and the less you think about it, you know for a fact you did it for the reason, you did it for this, you did it for that, but sustained wise, my history and the things that I have confronted, and some other people that I have not stated above or mentioned in a retaliation of certain things, I have never had said anything else in a retarded way, which seemed more profoundly not gifted enough, but per se it is kind of say that it is gifted, you know. And last time that I kind of checked, it has nothing to do with but the personal fact of reasoning only, and this and that type of things. I have never said anything that I have confronted. So what I have made has nothing to do with what I did it, but it has nothing to do with anything that you have done it. So it's different. It's a little bit higher. And mind you, some of the works that I have never generated what you're thinking about, but it's already there. It's most funny where you're setting at the personal spot of doing things, right behind it or somewhere else, there's a work of mine, and you can never go wrong with it. You know, like, and it's not even like that type of thing either. You're not thinking about the correct analysis of retarded stuff or other stuff around, but you take the bit of working 3 portions of the side and stuff like that, and you take the understanding of how you're doing it, a motivation wise, and think about this and all these crazy stuff. But you have to understand, when you're throwing things out, you're not doing it for the reason on behalf of what you're doing on your behalf of telling yourself what you're doing. You're doing it for a personal benefactoring reason, which come aside that I have more longevity wise is the most craziest thing. And that you can't really go wrong with anything that came across with it and came out of it, and you just took it away from me. So you can't really say that it's a wrong or a bad deal. There's no such thing in that regard, and I'm just beyond, unmeasurable in that sense, So you can't really say that type of things too, you know what I mean? Like on or low, you know what I mean? So you have to understand a lot of reasoning behind what I'm saying to you. And sometimes when you do things like that, which I say mind you, but that it should have gone something else to the moment that I have dependent myself on. The moment that I clearly defined to say that I am who I am, to really admit to myself that I have done something else in return, and that I never have ever had a chance in my lifetime to really think about stuff like this. So you motivation wise, it comes down to either you're claustrophobically not accepted, or number 2, you just refuse to bid by something else. Number 3, you have something else in regards to changes. And number 4, I have been in more something else cases that I have made an imprint, an impact within the steps of anything that are closer and closer and confined. So you can't tell me that I have never said anything wrong. I can't say that I have done anything right or either. Wrongfully, nothing is right. But you have to know that you sometimes have to admit it, that there are sometimes in a state like that. So every time you think about all these things, and every time you think about a lot of the things, I say you should follow up on no. I think you should follow up honestly, in all due honesty, follow up on the true path of you telling someone else factor in truth, and that you know about this, and you could do this stuff, and you think about all these things, and you think about why you have done all these things in reasoning only. Yo, you know for a fact you can't beat a person off the thing. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what, I've been placed in who I am, and some people have been, but just be honest with me, they're all less, It's a moral fact, because it's right here. The closer every world that you actually portray, and the world that I portray, in a sense, and stuff like that, for a fact that I have justified meaning, and that I have told myself the truth in regards to something else. And that there is no such thing as an unbending truth, unbending rules, or anything else in regards, so I have the right to say anything. And shout out to my family out FUMC, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the niggas Vice, you know what I'm saying? Publix, nigga, Northborough, all them niggas. You know, I drew the fucking thing too, yo. I went down and I got down on the web and shit like that. Shout out to them niggas. Shout out to fucking, you know what I mean? All them juggy shit, but my stance is fucking things always stand. My logo stands, you know. Shout out to the car films and shit like that. All them niggas dreaming about fucking Hyundai and shit like that. I got it too. I got it too, bro. So let's just keep it simple and all of that shit. You know what I mean? For real, and shit like that. You know, let's just play the game for real. And you have to take everything. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to you niggas and shit. It's fucking coming down to whatever. Nah, but for real, yo, to my family and shit, like, you know what I mean? Put it down. I can come down and do this shit. But let's just keep it all neutral and shit like that, yo. Keep everything good, yo. Peace, man.